The slap echoed in my sister's small sitting room like thunder. I stood there, my cheek burning, watching my ex-husband Chidi raise his hand again. But this time, something was different. This time, there was another man's arm blocking his hand. A man in an expensive suit who looked at Chidi like he was looking at dirt on his shoe. Touch her again, the man said quietly, his voice cold as ice. And I will make sure you never use that hand again. I looked at this man, this billionaire who had somehow become my husband. And I remembered how different my life used to be. How I used to beg, how I used to cry, how I used to think that maybe if I just loved Chidi harder, he would see me. But let me tell you how I got here. Let me tell you how a woman who lost everything found more than she ever imagined. Chidi, please, just one evening, just tonight, I was standing in our bedroom. Well, what used to be our bedroom before he moved his things to the guest room. My husband was adjusting his tie in the mirror, getting ready to go out again. It was a Friday night, the 5th Friday in a row that he was leaving me alone. Adako, not this again. He didn't even look at me, just kept fixing his tie like I wasn't there. I'm not asking for much, I said, and I hated how my voice sounded. Small, pleading, just eat dinner with me. We haven't talked in weeks. We're talking now. You know what I mean. He finally turned to face me. What do you want from me? I work hard all day. I come home tired. I need to relax with my friends. Is that a crime? I'm your wife, Chidi. Don't I matter? Don't start with the emotional blackmail. He grabbed his car keys from the dresser. I provide for you, don't I? You have food, you have clothes, you have this house. What more do you want? I want you. The words burst out of me. I want my husband. I want the man I married. He looked at me then, really looked at me. And what I saw in his eyes made my heart freeze. There was nothing there. No love, no warmth, just irritation. Maybe you want too much, he said. Then he walked out. I stood there in that empty bedroom, listening to his car drive away, and something inside me broke. Not for the first time. I had been breaking piece by piece for 2 years now, ever since the business started doing well, and Chidi started acting like he was too big for our small life together. We had been married for 4 years. The first 2 years were beautiful. We struggled together, laughed together, built dreams together. Chidi was working as a junior manager and I was teaching at a primary school. We didn't have much money, but we had each other. Then he got promoted, then promoted again. Then he started his own logistics company with some investors. Suddenly money was flowing, and suddenly I wasn't enough anymore. It started small. He came home later and later. He stopped asking about my day. He stopped touching me. When I tried to talk to him, he was always on his phone. When I suggested we go out together, he was always too busy or too tired. But with his friends, he had all the energy in the world. I tried everything. I cooked his favorite meals. I wore sexy clothes. I planned surprise dates. I gave him space. I stopped giving him space. I talked. I stayed quiet. Nothing worked. The more I tried, the more he pulled away. And the more he pulled away, the more desperate I became. I became the woman I swore I'd never be. The woman who begged for crumbs of attention from her own husband. My mother noticed. Adako, what is happening to you? You're losing weight. You look tired all the time. I'm fine, Mama. You're not fine. Is it Chidi? I couldn't tell her. Couldn't admit that my marriage was falling apart. So I smiled and lied. We're fine, Mama. Just busy. But we weren't fine. We were dying slowly and I was the only one trying to keep us alive. The divorce papers came on a Tuesday. I was in the kitchen making breakfast. Force of habit, even though Chidi never ate my food anymore, when he walked in with an envelope. "Sign this," he said, dropping it on the table. My hand shook as I opened it. "Divorce?" "Yes. I've been thinking about it for months. It's better this way." I felt like I was drowning. "Better? Chidi, we can fix this. We can go for counseling. There's nothing to fix. I don't love you anymore, Adaku. Maybe I never did. I don't know. But I know I can't keep pretending." The words hit me like physical blows. "You never loved me." I thought I did, but now I realize you're just too needy, too demanding. Always wanting attention, always complaining that I don't spend time with you. A man needs peace, not stress. Wanting to see my husband is needy. See? This is what I mean. Everything is a problem with you. I can't breathe in this marriage. I was crying now, and I hated myself for it. "Please, Chidi, don't do this." I already did. The papers are filed. You can contest it if you want, but it will only make things harder for you. He started walking away, then turned back. "Oh, and you need to move out. This house is in my name." "What?" "You have 2 weeks. Take your things and go." "But where will I go?" He shrugged. "That's not my problem anymore." And just like that, 4 years of marriage ended. No screaming, no big fight. Just cold, casual cruelty. I signed the papers the next day. What was the point of fighting? You can't force someone to love you. You can't beg someone to want you. I had learned that the hard way. The divorce was fast. Chidi had money for good lawyers. I had nothing. Our joint account had somehow become his account over the years, and I had been too trusting, too stupid to notice. I moved into my younger sister, Ngozi's small 2-bedroom flat in Surulere. She had 3 children and barely enough space for her own family, but she welcomed me anyway. "He will regret this," she said, hugging me as I cried on a sofa. Men are stupid. They don't know what they have until it's gone. But I didn't want him to regret it. I just wanted to stop hurting. I lost my teaching job 2 weeks later. The school was downsizing and I was too distracted to fight for my position. So there I was at 32 years old, divorced, jobless, broke, living in my sister's crowded flat, sleeping on a mattress in her children's room. I had never felt so low in my life. 3 months later, life was still hard, but I was surviving. I had found a job as a sales girl in a boutique in Lekki. The pay was small, but at least it was something. I helped Ngozi with her children and contributed to the house when I could. On this particular Saturday, Ngozi asked me to pick up her children from their auntie's house in Victoria Island. Their auntie had taken them to a birthday party. "Please, I am so tired," Ngozi begged. "You know how VI traffic is. I can't face it today." So I went. I picked up our 3 children from the party, and as we were walking to the bus stop, they started begging for ice cream. "Auntie Ada, please now, there's a Mr. Biggs over there." I checked my purse. I had only earned 2,000 left until payday, which was still 3 days away. But they looked at me with those big eyes, and I remembered how it felt to be a child craving something sweet. "Okay, but we're sharing one big scoop." We went into Mr. Biggs and joined the queue. That's when I heard her. "I want strawberry. I want strawberry." A little girl, maybe 5 years old, was crying near the counter. She was wearing a beautiful pink dress and had her hair in 2 puffy ponytails, but she was crying like her heart was breaking. The server behind the counter looked frustrated. "Madam, we don't have strawberry, only chocolate and vanilla." But I want a strawberry. The little girl was crying harder now. I looked around for her parents but didn't see anyone. The other people in the queue were getting annoyed. Before I could think about it, I walked up to her. "Hello, sweetheart." She looked up at me with big, tear-filled eyes. "My name is Adaku. What's your name?" Naomi. "That's a beautiful name. Naomi, I know you want strawberry, but they don't have it today. Can I tell you a secret?" She sniffed and nodded. "Chocolate is actually very special. It's the flavor that makes you smile even when you're sad. Want to try it?" She thought about it. "Will it make me smile?" "I promise." She gave me a small nod. I ordered her a chocolate cone and paid for it along with the one for my sister's children. As I handed it to her, she smiled at me. A real smile that lit up her whole face. "You're pretty," she said. I laughed. "Thank you. You're pretty too." "Are you an angel?" "No, sweetie. Just a person who likes ice cream." "My daddy says angels help people. You helped me, so you're an angel." Something about this child touched my heart. She was so sweet, so innocent. "Where is your daddy?" "He's coming. He went to answer a call." She licked her ice cream happily. "He's always answering calls, but he says he's coming back soon." I waited with her, making sure she wasn't alone. My sister's children were eating their ice cream nearby, watching curiously. Then I heard a voice, deep, worried, urgent. "Naomi, Naomi." A man burst into the Mr. Biggs like he was looking for something precious he'd lost. He was tall, very tall, and dressed in a sharp black suit that probably cost more than I earned in 6 months. His face was handsome, but tight with panic. "Daddy." Naomi ran to him, ice cream in hand. He dropped to his knees and pulled her into his arms. "Baby, I told you to stay where I left you. I was so worried, but I wanted ice cream, Daddy. And the lady said they don't have strawberry. And I was crying, but then the angel bought me chocolate." "Angel?" He looked up then, and his eyes met mine. I don't know what happened in that moment. It was like time stopped. His eyes were deep brown, intense, and when they looked at me, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. "Seen. Really seen. You bought her ice cream?" he asked, standing up. "It was nothing. She was crying and..." "Thank you." He reached for his wallet. "Let me pay you back." No, it's fine. Really. Please, I insist." He pulled out some bills, and 10,000. My pride wanted to refuse, but my empty purse was screaming yes. Still, I couldn't take it. It felt wrong. "It was just N500, I said. "For ice cream. You don't need to pay me back." He looked at me like I was speaking a foreign language, like he couldn't understand why someone would refuse his money. Naomi tugged on his hand. "Daddy, the angel is nice. Can't she come home with us?" He smiled at her, and when he smiled, his whole face changed. He looked younger, warmer. "Sweetheart, the angel probably has somewhere to be." "Actually, I need to get these children home," I said, gesturing to my sister's kids who were finishing their ice cream. "Let me give you a ride at least," he said. "It's the least I can do." "We're taking the bus. Please. Consider it a thank you for keeping my daughter safe, for making her smile." There was something in his voice, something genuine. I looked at him, really looked at him. He didn't seem dangerous. And honestly, the thought of cramming into a hot bus with 3 tired children made me want to cry. "Okay," I said. "Thank you." His driver pulled up in the black Range Rover that looked brand new. The children's eyes went wide. "Auntie Ida, is this man a king?" my nephew whispered. I almost laughed. But as I climbed into that car with its leather seats and cool AC, as I gave the driver my sister's address, as I watched this man, this wealthy, handsome man, make funny faces to make his daughter laugh, I thought, maybe my nephew wasn't completely wrong. Some people did seem to live in a different world. I didn't think I would see him again. Rich people existed in their own universe, far away from people like me. That ice cream moment was just a coincidence, a brief intersection of two different worlds. But I was wrong. The following Tuesday, I was at the boutique arranging some new dresses when a Range Rover pulled up outside. My heart did a weird jump. It couldn't be, but it was. He stepped out, the man from Miss Biggs, looking even more impressive in daylight. He was wearing a navy blue suit and moved with the kind of confidence that came from never having to doubt yourself. He walked into the boutique and straight to me. "Hello," he said. "Hi." My mouth was suddenly dry. Are you looking for something? We have nice dresses, some men's accessories. I'm looking for you. My heart stopped. Me. I realized I never properly thanked you for Naomi. She hasn't stopped talking about the angel for 3 days. I laughed nervously. It was really nothing. It was something to her, to me. He paused. I also realized I never got your name. Adaku Okafor, Kelechi Okonkwo. He extended his hand and I shook it. His grip was firm, warm. Would you like to have lunch with me, Adaku? I blinked. Lunch? Yes, food. Usually eaten in the middle of the day. He smiled and I saw humor in his eyes. I'm working. What time do you finish? 6. Dinner then. I can't. Why? The question tumbled out before I could stop it. He tilted his head, studying me. Because I want to know more about the woman who stopped to help a crying child. Because I want to thank you properly. Because... He paused, and something flickered in his eyes. Because I want to. My boss, Mrs. Nkechi, appeared from the back room. When she saw Kelechi, her eyes nearly popped out. "Mr. Okonkwo, sir, I didn't know you were coming." She practically ran over, ignoring me completely. "How can we help you? Are you looking for something for your sister? We just got new stock from Italy." "I'm actually here to see Adaku," he said calmly. Mrs. Nkechi looked at me like I had suddenly grown 2 heads. "Adaku? Our Adaku? Is there another Adaku here?" "No, sir, but... She was flustered. "Of course. Adaku, you can take your breaks early." I wanted to disappear. "I don't get off until 6. She gets off at 5 today." Mrs. Nkechi interrupted, shooting me a look that said, "Shut up and don't ruin this." "Right, Adaku." Kelechi's smile widened. "Perfect. I'll pick you up at 5 then." He looked at me. "Unless you don't want to have dinner with me." Did I want to have dinner with him? This man had looked like he stepped out of a magazine. This man whose daughter called me an angel. This man who made my heart race even though I had sworn off men forever. "Okay," I heard myself say. 5 o'clock. "See you then, Adaku." After he left, Mrs. Nkechi grabbed my arm. "Who is that man? How do you know him?" "I bought his daughter ice cream last week." "You bought his... and he came here to find you?" She fanned herself. "Hey, do you know who he is? Kelechi Okonkwo, the Okonkwo. His family owns half of Lagos." My stomach dropped. "What?" "Yes. His father died 2 years ago and left him everything. He's one of the richest young men in Nigeria, and he's single." Single. The word echoed in my head. But why would someone like that be interested in someone like me? The rest of the day passed in a blur. At 4:45, Mrs. Nkechi practically pushed me into the bathroom with makeup she kept in her bag, Fix yourself. Use this lipstick. Brush your hair. It's just dinner. With a billionaire, nothing is just anything. At exactly Thief Alex, the Range Rover pulled up. Kelechi got out and opened the door for me himself. I climbed in, feeling completely out of place in my simple work clothes, a blue skirt and white blouse. You look nice, he said as we pulled into traffic. I look like I sell clothes in a boutique. You look like you, he glanced at me. That's nice. We went to a restaurant in Ikoyi, the kind of place where the menu didn't have prices and the waiters wore white gloves. I felt like everyone was staring at me, judging me. Relax, Kelechi said, noticing my tension. Just be yourself. Easy for you to say. You belong here. Do I? He leaned back in his chair. What makes you think that? Everything. Your suit, your car, the way the staff here is treating you like royalty. He laughed. Money doesn't mean I belong anywhere. It just means I can afford to eat here. He paused. Tell me about yourself, Adaku. So I did. Not everything. I wasn't ready to talk about Chidi and the divorce, but I told him about teaching, about losing my job, about working at the boutique, about my sister and our children. He listened, really listened, not the fake listening Chidi used to do where his eyes glazed over. Kelechi asked questions, laughed at my stories, shared some of his own. Naomi is my world, he said when I asked about his daughter. Her mother died when she was 2. Childbirth complications. I'm so sorry. It was the hardest thing I've ever been through. Suddenly, I was a single father trying to run a business empire and raise a little girl. My mother tried to help, but she's old and has health problems. Mostly, it's just been me and Naomi. His eyes softened. She's the reason I keep going. The reason I work so hard. Everything I do is for her. There was something beautiful about watching him talk about his daughter. Something that made my heart ache. This was what a father should be. What a husband should be. Present, engaged, full of love. She's lucky to have you, I said quietly. I'm lucky to have her. He looked at me intently. What about you? Do you have children? No. The word came out heavier than I intended. But you want them? I did. Once. I took a sip of water, suddenly emotional. Things didn't work out the way I planned. He didn't push. Just nodded like he understood that some stories were too painful to tell on a first dinner. We talked for 2 hours about everything and nothing. About his favorite foods, pounded yam and egusi soup, and my favorite movies, old Nollywood classics that made him laugh. About Lagos traffic and Nigerian politics and whether jollof rice was better. With or without vegetables, a heated debate. When he dropped me off at my sister's flat, I felt lighter than I had in months. Can I see you again? He asked. My instinct was to say no, to protect myself. But something about Kelechi made me want to be brave. Yes, I said. I'd like that. His smile could have lit up all of Lagos. We started seeing each other regularly after that. Kelechi would pick me up from work and we'd go for dinner or sometimes just drive around Lagos talking. On weekends, I spent time with him and Naomi. That little girl had completely captured my heart. She was smart, funny, and had a way of asking deep questions that made you think. Miss Ada, why don't you live with us? She asked one Saturday while we were coloring at their house. Their house. I almost laughed. It was a mansion in Banana Island with more rooms than I could count. The first time I visited, I felt like I was in a movie. I live with my sister, remember? But you could live here. We have lots of rooms. You could have the one next to mine. She looked up at me with hopeful eyes. Then you could read me stories every night. My heart melted. Sweetheart, that's not how it works. Why not? How do you explain adult complications to a 5-year-old? Kelechi appeared in the doorway. Naomi, don't pressure Miss Ada. I'm not pressuring. I'm just saying she should live with us because she's nice and she smells good and she makes you smile, Daddy. Kelechi and I looked at each other, and there was something in that look. Something that made my stomach flip. She does make me smile, he said softly, his eyes not leaving mine. As weeks turned into months, I fell for him. Not the desperate, needy falling I had done with Chidi. This was different. This was two adults choosing each other, respecting each other, building something real. Kelechi never made me feel small. Never made me feel like I was asking for too much. When I wanted attention, he gave it freely. When I needed space, he understood. He showed up. He called when he said he would. He introduced me to his friends and family. His mother, Mama Nuku, was initially suspicious of me. My son is a very important man, she said the first time we met. Many women want him for his money. I understand, I said calmly, but I don't want his money. I want him. She studied me with sharp eyes. Then, slowly, she smiled. You have sense. I like you. The only person I hadn't told about Kelechi was Chidi. Why would I? He had moved on with his life. He had a new girlfriend, some socialite named Cassandra, who posted photos of them on Instagram every day. He was happy. I was happy. The past was the past, or so I thought. 6 months after our first dinner, Kelechi took me to a private beach house in Lekki. Naomi was with his mother for the weekend. We walked along the beach at sunset, the waves crashing beside us. I need to tell you something, he said. My heart jumped. Okay. I love you, Adaku. The words hung in the air between us. I had been waiting to hear them, but now that he had said them, I was terrified. I love you, he continued, stopping to face me. I love your strength. I love how you made Naomi smile when she was crying. I love how you don't care about my money. I love how you laugh at my bad jokes and call me out when I'm wrong. I love everything about you. Tears filled my eyes. Kelechi, wait, let me finish. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Oh God. He opened it, revealing a ring that sparkled in the fading sunlight. I know we haven't known each other that long. I know you have a past you haven't told me about yet. I know you're scared, but I also know that I want to spend my life with you. I want you to be Naomi's mother. I want you to be my wife. He got down on one knee. Adaku Okafor, will you marry me? I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. All I could think about was Chidi, about begging for attention, about being told I was too needy, about losing everything. I can't. Kelechi's face fell. What? I can't marry you. The words rushed out. I'm divorced, Kelechi. I've been divorced for 6 months. My ex-husband, he destroyed me. He made me feel like I was nothing. Like wanting love was a crime. Like I was too much. Tears were streaming down my face now. I can't go through that again. I can't be that woman who begs for scraps of attention. He stood up and took my hands. Look at me, Adaku. Look at me. I met his eyes. I am not your ex-husband. I will never be your ex-husband. Do you understand? I am choosing you. Every day I choose you. Not because I have to, but because I want to. Because my life is better with you in it. But what if it changes? What if you get tired of me? What if the sky falls tomorrow? What if the ocean dries up? We can't live in fear of what ifs. He cupped my face gently. I'm not asking you to forget your past. I'm asking you to build a future with me, at a different future, a better one. I'm scared. I know, but be scared with me. Choose me anyway. I looked at this man, this good, patient, loving man, and I realized something. I realized that staying afraid meant Chidi still had power over me. It meant he still controlled my life even though he was gone, and I was done giving him that power. Yes, I whispered. Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. He laughed and pulled me into his arms, spinning me around. When he put me down, he slid the ring onto my finger and kissed me like I was air and he had been drowning. That night, as we lay on the beach looking at stars, I told him everything. About Chidi, about the marriage, about feeling worthless. He listened to all of it, and when I finished, he just held me tighter. Thank you for trusting me with that, he said. And thank you for saying yes. I promise you, Adaku, I will spend every day proving that you made the right choice. We will be planned a small, quick wedding. We didn't want to wait. Why wait when you found your person? I had just finished shopping for my wedding dress with Ngozi when my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Adaku. It's Chidi. My blood turned to ice. I hadn't heard his voice in 7 months. How did you get my number? I need to see you. It's important. We have nothing to talk about. Please, just meet me once. One conversation, then I'll leave you alone. Something in his voice made me agree. Maybe I needed closure. Maybe I needed to see that I was truly over him. Fine. One meeting. Where? We met at a cafe in Ikeja the next day. I arrived early and saw him sitting at a corner table. He looked different, tired, older, like life had taken something from him. Adaku. He stood when he saw me, tried to hug me. I stepped back. What do you want, Chidi? He gestured to the chair opposite him. I sat, keeping my hand folded on my lap. The engagement ring Kelechi gave me glinted in the light. Chidi saw it. His eyes widened. You're engaged? Yes. To who? That's none of your business. Adaku, please, I need to talk to you. He leaned forward. I made a mistake. I laughed. Actually laughed. A mistake? You divorced me, Chidi. You threw me out of our home. You left me with nothing, so that's not a mistake. That's a choice. I know I hurt you, but I was confused. The business, the money, the pressure, it all went to my head. I became someone I wasn't. And now I see clearly. Cassandra and I broke up. She only wanted my money, Adaku. She didn't care about me. Not like you did. He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. I miss you. I miss us. I made a terrible mistake and I want to fix it. Please, give me another chance. For a moment, just a moment, I felt that old familiar feeling. That desperate need to be chosen by him, to hear him say he wanted me. But then I remembered something. I remembered 6 months of begging, of crying, of feeling worthless. I remembered all the nights he left me alone while he went out with his friends. I remembered how small he made me feel. And I remembered Kelechi, the way he looked at me like I was precious, the way he answered my calls on the first ring, the way he made plans with me and kept them, the way he chose me every single day. No, I said. What? No, I'm not giving you another chance. But Adaku, let me tell you something, Chidi. When we were married, I thought love meant fighting for someone even when they didn't fight for you. I thought it meant begging for attention, for time, for basic respect. I thought maybe I wasn't good enough, wasn't interesting enough, wasn't woman enough. You were enough. You are enough. Now I know that, I said quietly, because I found someone who shows me that every day. Someone who doesn't make me beg. Someone who sees spending time with me as a gift, not a burden. Is this about the ring? Who is this man? Does he have money? Is that why? This has nothing to do with money, Chidi. This has to do with love, real love, the kind you never gave me. His face twisted. I loved you. No. You loved having someone waiting at home for you, someone cooking your food and washing your clothes. But you didn't love me. Because love shows up. Love makes time. Love doesn't make the person feel crazy for wanting attention. I stood up, ready to leave. Adaku, wait. He grabbed my wrist. Don't throw away what we had. I looked at his hand on my wrist, then at his face. What we had ended the day you signed those divorce papers. What we had ended the day you told me I was too needy for wanting my own husband. You killed it, Chidi, not me. I pulled my hand free and walked out of that cafe with my head high. As I got into my Uber, my phone buzzed. A text from Kelechi. Missing you. Naomi wants to show you the drawing she made. She says it's you with angel wings. Can't wait to marry you. Love you. I smiled through my tears. Not tears of sadness, but tears of relief. Relief that I had found something real. Relief that I had found someone who wanted to marry me, not despite my needs, but because he loved all of me, including my need for attention, for love, for partnership. I texted back, love you too. On my way home. Home. That's what Kelechi and Naomi had become. Home. Our wedding was beautiful, small and intimate, just like we wanted. 50 people at a lovely hotel garden in Lekki. My family, his family, our closest friends. Naomi was the flower girl, wearing a white dress that matched my gown. She took her job very seriously, throwing petals with concentrated precision. When I walked down the aisle and saw Kelechi standing there in his white suit, tears streaming down his face, I knew I had made the right choice. This was my person, my partner, my future. You are so beautiful, he whispered when I reached him. You're not so bad yourself. We exchanged vows we had written ourselves. His promise to love me through every season, to never make me doubt my worth, to choose me daily. Mine promised to trust him, to build a life together, to love Naomi as my own daughter. When the pastor said, "You may kiss the bride," Kelechi kissed me like he'd been waiting his whole life to do it. The reception was joyful. We danced, we laughed, we ate too much jollof rice. Naomi gave a speech. Well, more like she grabbed the microphone and yelled, "My daddy married an angel," which made everyone laugh. I was dancing with Ngozi when the commotion started. "Sir, you can't come in here. This is a private event." I turned and saw security guards at the entrance trying to block someone. Chidi. He pushed past them and stormed into the reception. He was drunk. I could tell from the way he walked, the way his eyes were unfocused. The music stopped. Everyone stared. "Adaku," he yelled. "Adaku, how can you do this?" Kelechi immediately stepped in front of me. "Sir, you need to leave." "Leave? This is my wife you're marrying." "Ex-wife," I said, stepping around Kelechi. "We're divorced, Chidi. You divorced me, remember?" "I made a mistake." He was crying now, pathetic and desperate. "Please, Adaku, don't do this. Come back to me." People were whispering now. My mother looked horrified. Ngozi looked ready to fight. "You need to go," Kelechi said firmly. "Now." "Who are you to tell me what to do?" "That's my wife." "She's my wife now." Kelechi's voice was still. "And if you don't leave immediately, I'll have you arrested for trespassing. Chidi lunged at Kelechi. That's when my new husband did something I'll never forget. He didn't fight back, didn't even raise his fist. He just caught Chidi's arm, twisted it gently but firmly and held him there. Don't embarrass yourself, father, Kelechi said quietly. She made her choice. Accept it with dignity. Chidi started crying harder. Adaku, please, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. For the first time, I looked at him and felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not even pity, just nothing. I forgive you, Chidi, I said. Not for you, for me. So I can move forward without carrying this weight. But forgiveness doesn't mean taking you back. It means releasing the past so I can fully embrace my future. Security guards came and led Chidi away. As they did, he looked back at me one last time. You'll regret this, he said bitterly. No, I said clearly. The only thing I regret is not valuing myself enough to leave you sooner. That brings me back to where I started, to 2 weeks after my wedding. When Chidi found out where my sister lived and came banging on her door, demanding to see me. I was there visiting Ngozi when he arrived. He started yelling, calling me names, saying I was a gold digger who left him for a richer man. That's when he raised his hand to slap me, and that's when Kelechi, who had come to pick me up for dinner, stepped in front of me and cut his wrist. Touch her again, my husband said in that cold, quiet voice, and I will make sure you never use that hand again. The police arrived minutes later. Kelechi had called them when he heard Chidi's voice outside. They arrested Chidi for harassment and assault. As they led him away in handcuffs, he was still yelling, still saying I belonged to him. But I didn't belong to him. I never had. I belonged to myself. And I had chosen to share my life with someone who understood that. It's been 2 years since I married Kelechi. 2 years of waking up next to a man who kisses me good morning. 2 years of being a mother to Naomi, who now calls me mommy and draws pictures of our family. Stick figures of 3 people holding hands under a smiling sun. I started a small business with Kelechi's support. A tutoring center for children from low-income families is my passion project, my way of giving back. Kelechi helps with the funding, but lets me run it my way. He respects my independence, even as he supports my dreams. We're expecting a baby, a little boy. Naomi is excited to be a big sister. She's already planning what to teach him, how to protect him, what games they'll play together. Sometimes I think about who I was 2 years ago. That broken woman sleeping on a mattress in her sister's flat. That woman who thought her value was tied to whether a man wanted her. That woman who begged for love like it was something you had to earn rather than something freely given. I don't recognize her anymore. Not because I'm married to a rich man now. Not because I live in a mansion or drive nice cars or wear designer clothes. Those things are nice, but they're not what healed me. What healed me was learning to love myself. Learning that wanting attention, wanting love, wanting partnership, none of those things make you needy. They make you human. What healed me was understanding that the right person won't make you beg, won't make you feel like you're asking for too much. The right person will give freely what you need because your happiness matters to them. Kelechi still opens doors for me. Still calls me in the middle of his busy day just to hear my voice. Still plans date nights and surprise weekends away. Still looks at me like I'm the most beautiful woman in the world, and I do the same for him. Because love isn't one person giving and the other taking. It's both people choosing each other, over and over again. Last week, we ran into Chide at a restaurant. He was alone, looking lonely. He saw us, me, Kelechi, Naomi, my pregnant belly, and quickly looked away. I felt nothing. Not satisfaction at his loneliness, not vindication that he lost me. Just nothing. It was my past, and my past had no power over my present. As we left the restaurant, Naomi slipped her small hand into mine. "Mommy, are you happy?" I looked at my daughter, my husband, the life we'd built together. I thought about the woman I used to be and the woman I had become. "Yes, baby," I said, squeezing her hand. "I'm very happy." And I was. Not because a man saved me, I saved myself. Not because I married rich, I married well. Not because I got revenge on my ex, I got free from him. I was happy because I finally understood what I deserved. And I refused to settle for anything less. That's the real story. Not a body billionaire who fell for a regular woman, but about a woman who stopped begging, started believing in herself, and found that when you know your worth, the right person will see it too. My name is Adaku Okonkwo. I used to be the woman who begged for attention. Now I'm the woman who stopped crying and started living. And that's the best revenge of all.